Imagine this. A floating fortress the size of 4 football fields, packed with stealth fighters, radar jamming tech, missile systems, and nuclear propulsion, suddenly appears in the middle of World War II. A modern USS Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carrier sent back to 1942. Would it dominate, change the war, or break down without a support system? Let's find out. Chapter 1. What just arrived? The USS Gerald R. Ford is the most advanced warship in history. 337 meters long, 100,000 tons of displacement, nuclear-powered with 25 years of fuel on board, 4,500-plus crew, over 75 aircraft, F-35s, FA-18s, helicopters, drones, radar-evading stealth, anti-missile defenses, electronic warfare systems. It's not just a ship, it's a self-contained military base with its own air force and city-sized infrastructure. In 1942, it's not a ship, it's a UFO. Chapter 2. Welcome to 1942. Let's say the Ford appears in the Pacific Theater shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Allied forces are still reeling. Japan dominates the seas. Carrier warfare is still in its infancy. Then, this monster arrives. The Axis powers don't even have radar systems strong enough to see it. It's invisible, untouchable, and packing more firepower than entire World War II fleets combined. Chapter 3. Firepower versus history. Modern fighters on board, like the F-35 or FA-18, are light years ahead. Cruise speed, Mach 1.6 plus. Radar lock, 300 plus kilometers. Smart missiles hit before enemy even knows they're targeted. Compare that to Japanese Zeros or German Bf-109s. Top speed, 330 to 350 miles per hour. No radar, visual aiming only. No air-to-air missiles. Every modern jet can outclimb, outturn, and outshoot 1940s aircraft by a mile. Bombers, toast. Ships, easy targets. The Ford's automated defense systems, Phalanx Seawiz, would annihilate any torpedoes or kamikaze attempts before they get close. Chapter 4. But then, the problems. It's not invincible. Ammo. Modern missiles and bombs are limited. Once they're gone, they're gone. World War II-era tech can't reproduce them. Maintenance. F-35s and carrier tech need software diagnostics, specialized tools, and thousands of spare parts, none of which exist in 1942. Fuel and resupply. It runs on modern nuclear reactors, great. But the planes don't. Jet fuel, JP-8, doesn't exist in the 1940s. You can't refuel F-35s with gasoline. Communication. Encrypted comms and GPS don't work in 1942. There are no satellites, no compatible allies to coordinate with. It's a titan stranded in the past. Chapter 5. World shock. The Ford doesn't just destroy, it disorients. Axis pilots vanish in midair without ever seeing a threat. Entire naval strategies collapse when ships are sunk from beyond visual range. Morale crumbles. On the Allied side, panic turns into awe. What is this miracle ship? Who built it? Soldiers call it the Angel of Steel. Propaganda on both sides goes into overdrive. Japan might assume the US has more of these ships and begin to doubt their own victory. Germany reconsiders invasion plans. Chapter 6. The reality check. Despite its power, the Ford can't be everywhere. There are still hundreds of planes, thousands of soldiers, dozens of battles raging across the globe. Without backup or logistical chains, the Ford is slowly bleeding out. Planes grounded after running out of parts. Defense systems degrade. Minor malfunctions become mission-ending. It might dominate the war for weeks, but alone, it's not enough. Chapter 7. Could it win the war? The Ford could rewrite battles, even whole campaigns. Its presence would save thousands of lives, change strategic decisions, and delay or prevent key Axis victories. But it wouldn't end the war. Wars are won with alliances, economies, and logistics, not one miracle ship. Still, the Axis powers would never recover from the psychological and tactical shock, and history would never be the same again. Chapter 8. What happens next? As the initial shock fades, both sides begin adapting. The Allies rush to secure and protect the Ford. Engineers try reverse engineering what they can, studying radar arrays, copying hull designs, sketching everything. While they can't replicate the advanced systems, they begin accelerating their own technologies: radar, propulsion, metallurgy, even early computing. This creates a butterfly effect. Innovations that would have taken decades now appear in years. The Axis, meanwhile, turns paranoid. Hitler, obsessed with Wunderwaffe, or miracle weapons, becomes convinced the Allies have mastered time travel. Japan scrambles to alter its naval strategy. Italy does, well, less than the others. But despite fear, they start changing tactics. Flying lower, hiding ships, sending waves of decoys to overwhelm sensors. The Ford's dominance continues, but cracks begin to show. Without spare parts or munitions, its aircraft become fewer and fewer. Eventually, the crew faces hard decisions. Do they sacrifice parts from one jet to keep another flying? Do they begin training World War II pilots to fly their planes even without proper tools? The ship itself is still mobile and deadly, but it's no longer untouchable. Chapter 9. Salvage and Strategy. Realizing the Ford can't win the war alone, Allied leaders pivot. Instead of using it to fight every battle, they use it surgically, crippling Axis naval convoys, destroying high-value airfields, intercepting strategic bombers, protecting supply lines across the Atlantic and Pacific. In essence, the Ford becomes a mythic force, not omnipresent but decisive when it appears. Its crew begins documenting everything: weapons specs, tactics, medical procedures, even cultural artifacts from the future. They create a 1942 digital arc, using any available film and print to pass on knowledge. By war's end, the ship is battered, its planes grounded, and most missiles long spent. But its legacy is irreversible. Chapter 10. Aftermath. When the war ends, maybe sooner than in our timeline, the Ford is dry-docked, a holy relic of steel. Historians debate it for decades. Was it divine intervention? A glitch in time? Nobody knows. But it reshapes post-war development. Technology races forward. Cold War tensions form earlier, driven by stolen sketches and glimpses of the future. And the United States? They're seen not just as victors, but as gods who command machines from another century. The Ford becomes legend, and its final message, carved into a steel plate in the captain's quarters, reads, "Peace through strength, even across time."